So I work in economic development, and my hopes for this career is to really improve or maintain the standards of living for all peoples. I work for the government of Canada, so I'm looking to help Canadians first, but it's not a zero-sum game. We can help other countries with their standard of living and help them access resources, education, goods, services, programs that help us to all be better off. Um, I don't believe in growth at all costs. I think that the world is struggling with that right now. Of course, we have environmental priorities, we have social and economic priorities, but if we can work collaboratively in partnership and think of expanding the pie and think of bigger wins for all of us, sure, we can all live better. And that's my hope. I think it's critical that governments don't just listen to a subset of people or certain constituents, but real leadership takes us to be able to listen to all of us within a population and as many stakeholders as possible. Equity inclusion, there's a lot of talk about it, but I think it matters because complex problem solving is improved by diversity of opinion. And in some sense, it's a proxy for the quality of solutions and engagement that can be had. So I think if we hit that head on and listen to all of our stakeholders, then we'll find richer, better solutions that meet more of our needs. My advice to students today would be to really make an effort to listen to each other. Not just words, but to try and understand where someone is coming from and the experiences that they bring to the table, good or bad. I do believe that it's a challenge sometimes to really want to understand another point of view, but that's based on someone's lived experience. And if we dig a little bit deeper as to why they think the way that they do, it's based on that experience. And we can challenge that experience, but I think before that happens, and before we're so quick to give our own opinion and our own views on the world, I think it really benefits us all to really pause, if only for a moment, to try and listen and understand where some of that pain comes from, that hurt comes from, or that anger or angst or disagreement, but it comes from somewhere. And then once we can understand that, even possibly empathize or relate to it, then we can be quick to articulate our opinion and how and why that might be different. But it's a process. A lot of conversation, a lot of effort has been had to improve the quality of conversation and outreach with our Indigenous communities right here in Canada. And, Canada, we've had the Canadian International Development Organization or Association, CEDA, and other organizations that expand our reach internationally. And as Canadians, we care about the world. Many of us come from immigrant families, and so we care about the world, but we have issues at home. I think a lot has been learned in recent years about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and, what sincere engagement looks like and what it means. It starts off by listening, frankly. So we all need to listen, educate ourselves. We're in a time where we have tons of access to information. But if we truly want to change, I think that's a process. We can't expect quick results, but I think it is fair to expect participation, and I think it's fair to expect progress if we stick to the long-term vision. I've had a number of mentors. Some of them are going to be unconventional. I grew up in the 80s and 90s in Toronto. I won't lie, rap music and hip hop culture was a huge influence on me. So there were political artists, groups like Public Enemy or Chuck D. So they've been an influence. I'd say closer to home, I have a number of role models, a lot of strong women in my family. And one individual in particular on my mother's side, my uncle. I have an uncle, Calvin, who is an RCMP officer, a police officer. So it's given me the view of public service and what we owe to each other as a community, what we owe to each other as people, and to be a good, decent citizen. And that's been influential.